Imagine a book written 2,500 years ago in a language no one speaks anymore, about a war that may never have happened, involving gods who do not exist. And imagine that when you read it, you recognize yourself in it. Your anger, your pride, your loneliness, your fear of being forgotten. How is that even possible? That is not a small question. That is the central mystery of Homer's Iliad. And today we are going to try to answer it. Before we get into the book itself, let me give you a simple test. Think about the time when you felt genuinely humiliated, not just embarrassed. I mean the deep feeling where someone disrespected you in front of other people and you could not let it go. Now hold that feeling in your mind. That is what the Iliad is about. Achilles, the greatest warrior in the Greek army, is humiliated by his own commander, a man named Agamemnon. Agamemnon steals something from Achilles to prove he outranks him. Achilles refuses to keep fighting, and while Achilles sulks in his tent, Greeks start dying on the beach. Simple story, but here is what makes it extraordinary. Homer does not just tell you what happened, he gets inside the heads of every single person in the scene. And every single one of them is completely unmistakably human. Think about the confrontation between Agamemnon and Achilles. Agamemnon is not simply throwing his weight around, he is doing three things at once, and Homer makes you feel all three. He is responding to Achilles directly, yes, but he is also watching how the other generals are reacting. He cannot back down in front of them because if he looks weak, he loses their respect. And in this world, losing respect can get you killed. At the same time, he is constructing a story in his own head that justifies what he is doing. And Achilles is doing the same thing. He is not just angry, he is building a case. He explains to everyone present that he has no personal grudge against Troy. He is only there because Agamemnon asked him to be. He has risked everything for this man, and now this man is stealing the little he has gained. He is trying to win the room, he is trying to control the story. What Homer captured is something we did not have a word for until much later. The fact that humans do not just live in the world, we narrate the world. We are always stepping back and watching ourselves. Listening to ourselves speak, calculating the effect of our words on other people. We call this consciousness. Here is what is staggering about the Iliad. A student reading it today, a young person in China who has never touched a sword and has no idea what ancient Greece looked like, can imagine what it felt like to be Achilles as a child. They might say he would be an Olympic athlete today. He wants to be famous. He wants to stand out. He would rebel against coaches and sponsors because he hates being told what to do. A fictional character who never existed, written down thousands of years ago, is more real than most people we actually know. That is the power of a great book. One literary critic named Harold Bloom spent his career trying to explain this. His answer was that great books are made of characters who can hear themselves speak, characters who are conscious. And that is what makes them feel alive. They are not just reacting, they are watching themselves react. They have an inner world that you can almost hear thinking. Homer was most likely a single person, probably blind, traveling from place to place reciting this story out loud to audiences who had no books. He was not writing it down, he was performing it. And in one mind, he held dozens of fully realized people, each with their own memories, motivations, wounds, and dreams. One theory is that Homer was not just reporting human nature, he was accessing it, the way a great musician can play a piece of music and make you feel something you have never felt in words. We call the underlying patterns archetypes. Certain kinds of people exist across every culture and every century: the proud warrior, the cunning leader, the wise elder who arrives too late. Homer did not invent these people, he recognized them, and when you read about them you recognize them too, because you have met them, you have been them. Greek civilization, the thing we point to as the foundation of Western thought. Plato, Socrates, democracy, philosophy, all of it grew out of the Iliad. The Greeks thought of Homer as their teacher, their father. Every great thinker in ancient Greece was in some way working inside the world that Homer built. The Iliad trained an entire civilization to be conscious, to hear themselves speak, to imagine how other people experience the world, to look at a conflict and ask not just who is right, but what each person believes, why they believe it, and what it would cost them to change. That is imagination, that is empathy, and those two things, more than any technology or weapon or law, are what build civilizations. So why should you read a 2,500-year-old poem about a war you do not care about? Because it will help you understand something that no textbook, no app, and no tutorial can teach you. It will help you understand yourself. You will see your own pride in Achilles. You will see your own need to save face in Agamemnon. You will see the people around you more clearly, because you will have practiced seeing people from the inside. And here is the thing about the story itself. Even as the ships are burning and the Greeks are dying, both Agamemnon and Achilles refuse to give up their version of the truth. They would rather let everything collapse than admit they might be wrong. How much of your own life looks like that? Great books do not give you answers. They show you the questions you have been avoiding. If that interests you, stay with us. We are just getting